Hello dear students, welcome back to your social science class with me Miss Lily Case. Today we are going to start with a new topic and that is from chapter 7, the Gupta Empire. Here in this chapter you will be learning about the lineage, the Guptas starting with Chandragupta I followed by Samudragupta, then Chandragupta II, and later you will be learning about Kumargupta, Skandagupta, and followed by Fahen, who was a Chinese pilgrim, and later on I will also tell you why the Gupta dynasty came to an end. Alright, so let me begin with Chandragupta I. So Chandragupta I, he was the founder of the Gupta dynasty, that is the Gupta Empire. Now here, this Gupta Empire is considered as one of the greatest dynasties of the Indian history, alright? Because this dynasty was existed for 200 centuries, that is from 320 to 540 AD, alright? So between these 200 centuries, so many great achievements were made by these Guptas, and they have also marked a great golden age dynasty, alright? So because of their achievements, because of their success, because of whatever they have explored, whatever they have discovered and invented, this dynasty is also known as the golden age of Indian history, alright? Now, so this Chandragupta I, like I said, he was the founder of the Gupta dynasty and he was the first person who started off this Gupta dynasty. So how he did that? Those days Magadha was a very popular and a well-known state, alright? And there were so many good things about this Magadha and so many rulers were always after this Magadha. So this Chandragupta Maurya, he was the one who achieved in annexing this Magadha state, alright? So once he took control over this Magadha, he became the ruler of this Magadha, and then slowly and slowly he defeated many rulers and those lands came under his control. So those days what the rulers do, they always go for battle, and then once they succeed in defeating those rulers, all this land which was controlled by those rulers comes under their control, and that is how they used to expand their empire. So similarly, Chandragupta Maurya, he did the same thing. He annexed Magadha and slowly he expanded his empire. So he started the Gupta Empire, right? Now another way how he expanded his empire was he married Kumar Devi. So Kumar Devi was the princess of Lichavi. So Lichavi was another state those days, and once he married the princess, even Lichavi came under the control of Chandragupta Maurya. And apart from Lichavi, all those states, all the small kingdoms which was around Lichavi also came under the control of Chandragupta I, and that is how he expanded his territory. Alright, so after Chandragupta I, his son Samudragupta took his seat. Alright, so these are all lineage. Okay, this is the ancestor, and then followed by Samudragupta, Chandragupta. They are all father and sons. Okay, so they have one lineage. Alright, one bloodline. Alright, so next was Samudragupta. Now Samudragupta, just like his father Chandragupta I, he also was a brave ruler, and he expanded his territory. He annexed Gujarat. He also annexed some other states, which you can find in page number 44 towards your left hand side. You can see that it is written that Samudragupta was like Alexander and Napoleon. Alexander and Napoleon was one of the greatest rulers of those times, and there were so many rulers who admired them and wanted to be like them. So Samudragupta, he was also like Alexander and Napoleon in India, alright? So he annexed so many lands, he annexed so many territories, and over 3,000 miles became his territory, alright? So he had control over so many lands. However, Samudragupta, he was so satisfied with whatever he had, so those southern areas were given to the southern kings, all right. So it showed that Samudragupta was quite wise compared to the other rulers of Gupta dynasty, all right. Then apart from that, Samudragupta was not only a great ruler, but he was also a great lover of music. We can see that from the coins which was found, where Samudragupta is seen playing the veena. Veena is a musical instrument. So from that we found that Samudragupta was not only a great ruler, but he was also a great lover of music, and he used to play the veena himself. And not only in music, he was also a great lover of art and architecture, which we can see from the paintings, from the carvings on the walls, all right. So this life story of Samudragupta can be found from the pillar, that is the Allahabad pillar inscription, which is in Mehrauli, Delhi. Through this pillar inscription, we can get lots of informations about the life, about the conquest of this Samudragupta, all right. Then coming to the next ruler, that is Chandragupta II. Now Chandragupta II was the son of Samudragupta, all right. So just like Chandragupta I and Samudragupta, even Chandragupta II was a great ruler, and he kept on expanding his territory, all right. None of them proved to be a weak ruler, because every time their strength was increasing. Even if they go for battle, they always win the battle, and those rulers had to surrender all their lands and properties to these great rulers, the Gupta dynasty, all right. So that is how Chandragupta II also proved himself to be a great ruler, all right. Now there are coins of Chandragupta II which are found, and it shows the how the ruler was till which period the Chandragupta II had the control over the Indian states, all right. Then after Chandragupta II came Kumargupta. So Kumargupta was the son of Chandragupta II. So till Kumargupta also the land had been expanding, and the Gupta Empire proved themselves to be a strong leader even till the times of Kumargupta, all right. Remember, Kumargupta was the son of Chandragupta II. Now something changed after Skandagupta, all right. So Skandagupta was again the son of Kumargupta, all right. So once Skandagupta became the ruler, that time the Hunas, all right, the Hunas were the tribal people from Central Asia, and they had an eye over the Gupta Empire, all right. They were always looking for the best possible ways to attack the Gupta Empire, but they were not getting the opportunity. So finally the Hunas, they came and fought a battle with Skandagupta, with the Gupta Empire, where Skandagupta was the ruler that time. They had a war, and Skandagupta defeated the Hunas. So now the Hunas had to go back to their own land, right? But after the Hunas went back to their own territory, Skandagupta could not keep up for very long. So he faced some illness, and then he died, all right. So after Skandagupta died, the Hunas, they took the advantage of the death of Skandagupta, and they came back to the Gupta Empire. They killed the people, and they destroyed all the towns in the Gupta Empire. So when they did that, the Gupta Empire became so weak, and slowly and slowly the upcoming rulers after Skandagupta, they couldn't prove themselves to be strong enough to support the Gupta Empire, and finally the Gupta Empire declined, and the glorious and the mighty Gupta Empire came to an end, all right. So how we get to know about all these stories are from one person, that is Fa Hien. So Fa Hien was a Chinese pilgrim, and he spent about 6 years in the court of Chandragupta. So during his 6 years journey, he found so many things, he observed so many things in the Gupta dynasty, and he noted all these observations. And through his notes, we get to know about the administration, we get to know about the art and architecture, the religion, and all these functions, what were the advancements that took place. And because of all these advancements, this Gupta dynasty was popularly known as the golden age of the Indian history. All right, so let's go to Farhan now. So according to Farhan, he said that the people in the Gupta dynasty, they were very humble. They were always inclined to their own duties. They never interrupt one another. They had a very peaceful relationship. And Farhan also noted that the people in the Gupta dynasty, they were vegetarian, and they do not like spices. They do not go eat garlic, or they do not eat onions, but they go for a very simple food. Even religion also, they mostly worship Lord Vishnu and Lord Shiva. And those days, before the Gupta dynasty, even Buddhism existed in India, but during the Gupta age, Buddhism became less important. All right, so likewise, the Hindu religion was very popular, because even the rulers of the Gupta dynasty, they used to give funds, they used to give donations in order to build more and more temples in different states that was under their control. All right, now the next one is literature. So according to Farhan, he said that in the court of Gupta, in the court of Samudragupta, there were very popular poets like Harisena and Kalidasa. So they were the greatest poets of all times, all right? And they existed during the Gupta times, and they wrote so many poetry, they wrote so many tales that talks about the great rulers and leaders, all right? And coming to the advancement, according to Farhan, he also observed that during the Gupta times, there was a huge advancement in technology. One was Aryabhatta. Aryabhatta was considered as the greatest scientist those days, all right? So Aryabhatta, what he did, he introduced the number 0 in mathematics, and he also told the people that the earth revolves around the sun, and while at the same time it orbits on its axis. Okay, so that was a great discovery, right? And it was all given, all this information was given by Aryabhatta. And apart from that, there was also veterinary science. Veterinary science is related to the medical science for animals, all right? So it also existed during the times of Gupta age. And not only that, but they also had metallurgy, where the iron pillar, all right? Nowadays, if you keep the iron under the sun for even few weeks, the iron gets rusted, right? But this metallurgy, this iron pillar, which is in Delhi, this iron pillar has been standing there for over 16 centuries, but it hasn't got rusted still. And that was a great advancement again, right? So all these accounts led to the result stating that the Gupta dynasty was the golden age of the Indian history, right? Then coming to the art and architecture. Now this Gupta dynasty, the Gupta rulers, they were great lovers of art and architecture, and we can see that from the paintings, from the cave paintings, we can see that from the inscriptions. They have also made some Buddhist monasteries under the rock caves, and there are also beautiful paintings and decorations in the temples. So all these paintings and decorations are still very popular, and people from other countries, they used to come and visit. They come just to see the decorations and designs. So these are still popular, and they're also added to the beauty of the Gupta dynasty. All right, then not only that, but this Gupta dynasty, they also maintained a good relation with the foreign countries, especially with the Asian countries like Borneo, Sumatra, Supara, all right? And they also set up some seaports. They also maintained the roads, which were connected very well to the other foreign countries, and that is how they connected to one another. So those and the Gupta dynasty, they imported they imported the goods from the foreign countries like horse. They also took some precious stones from the foreign countries, and in return they also exported their spices, they also exported their precious stones, and this is how they maintained trade relations with the other countries from West and the Southeast Asia. All right. So apart, though this Gupta Empire has done so many achievements, this Gupta Empire came to an end finally. So what was the reason for the decline? One of the reason was because the successors of this Chandragupta II couldn't prove themselves to be great rulers. All right. So when Chandragupta I was ruling, when Samudragupta was a ruler, and when Chandragupta II was the ruler, they were always annexing the states, they were always expanding the state. Even the officers, even the leaders in their courts, everyone used to do their work properly, right? Everyone was assigned a work. So during the Gupta times, even the princes had to look after certain provinces, certain districts where they were assigned. They have to go personally and look after the matters of these provinces, right? Though the other women in the society did not have much privilege like the princes, yet the princes had a great privilege and they also enjoyed their status. So that was one of the reasons of decline. After Chandragupta II, the leaders and the officials, they couldn't do their part very well. And the next reason was that the officials, all right, officials, once they do their work, they were not paid in cash, but they were given land in return. So in that case, most of the land came under the control of these officials, and slowly the land became lesser and lesser for the empire as a whole. That is why even after the Gupta Empire came to an end, these officials took their land and started as a separate ruler. So that was one of the reasons why the Gupta dynasty came to an end. Then the third reason was the attack of the hunas. All right. So once the hunas came and attacked the Skandagupta, though he was able to defeat the hunas, but after that he fell ill and he couldn't keep up well. So the upcoming rulers of the Gupta dynasty, they were not strong enough and they were not well prepared to protect themselves from the attacks of the hunas. That's why the Gupta dynasty came to an end. All right. And one of the last reason was due to weak kingship, the governors, there was not in the later part of the Gupta dynasty, the governors and the kingship, they did not share those peaceful relationship which they were sharing before, right? And because of the enmity among them, because of the non-unity and non-cooperation, the Gupta dynasty also declined. All right. So those are the reasons for the decline of the Gupta dynasty. Remember, Chandragupta I founded the Gupta dynasty. He was the father of Samudragupta, and after Samudragupta, Chandragupta II took control over the land of the ancestors, followed by Kumargupta and Skandagupta. Skandagupta was the last ruler, though there were some other rulers. However, they were not as powerful as the other Gupta kings. All right. Then Fahen, who was a Chinese pilgrim, he spent about 6 years visiting the Buddhist monasteries, and that time he have encountered so many things in the Gupta dynasty, and because of his observations, whatever he has noted in those observations, we are able to find out about the Gupta age. All right. And I've also explained to you why the Gupta dynasty came to an end. So thank you very much and take care.